Look, let's be honest, most of us are not good about managing money. And ultimately, it's not our fault because growing up, we weren't really trained or given much education on correct ways to manage money, managing debt, saving for emergencies, saving for retirement, right? And in fact, that has done is pretty much punished us, mainly all of us when we get to adulthood, because we tend to accumulate a lot of debt. And by time a lot of people get to retirement age, they come to find out that they really don't have as much money as they need in retirement saved up. And so what is that doing? It's forcing people who have worked their whole life to finally get to the point where they think they can retire to either have to extend working, take on jobs in retirement, and or live well below their means in retirement, right? And that's not what we were promised. We were promised, hey, when you work, you work your life, you put away money, you save, and then when you retire, you get to not work, no worries, no stress, travel, enjoy life. And ultimately, we're finding out that's not true. Now, look, I don't want to work until I'm 65 anyway, but even if I did, I definitely don't want to get there and come to find out that I don't have enough money saved up. Let's take a look at a quick article that I found. And there's millions of articles just like this, but they all have the common theme of people just don't have enough money saved up at any age, right? So this right here breaks it down by age. You can see the age ranges, the age groups. And what you see here is a median balance of accounts and a mean balance of accounts. Okay, so let's just take a look at the age range 65 to 74, since 65 again is commonly referred to as the official kind of retirement age. And you can see a median balance of 8,000 and a mean balance of 57,000. Okay, so when we say balance, let's just for simplicity say, between checking, savings, accounts, retirement accounts, and all that. So money that they have to be able to live off of and or use for expenses and whatnot. Okay, so the median balance means if we took everyone in this age group of 65 to 74 and just rank them in order from the person with the most money in their accounts to the person with the least amount of money in their accounts. If we took the very middle person in that group, that is the median. That middle person had $8,000 in their account. Okay. The mean is what we would normally think of as an average, right? So that is everyone in that age group, 65 to 74, all the money between everyone added up and then divided by the amount of people in that group. And that gave the average of 57,000. Now, it's not good when there's such a big discrepancy like that, because what that means is if the middle person out of all of those people lined up had $8,000 in their account, but on average, everyone has 57,000, that means the people that do have money, right, have a lot of money compared to the majority of people in that group. Most people, the majority of people in that group have very little money saved up to the point that the middle person had 8,000, right? So that means the whole 50%, right, of the people below this person, the other 49% or whatnot, have less than 8,000, and going up even, right? We're getting barely above 8,000. So bottom line is the picture is grim, and you can see this across all the different ages that there's big discrepancies in people that it's like a few people have enough money and everyone else, the majority doesn't. Okay. And so I'll link to this article down in the description. So what can we do, right? Well, something that I did, this is a while ago when I was trying to figure out like, hey, I want a plan to manage my money, right? I know I should be investing. I know I should be saving. I'm racking up credit card debt. I'm just kind of all over the place and I have no organization. So I ended up coming across some ancient teachings of the Babylonians from over 4,000 years ago. And let's take a look at what that looks like, because I think it can help a lot of people who really don't have a plan. And again, I'm sharing that this is what I did. Not saying that you should do this or you have to do this, but I think for anyone that is kind of wandering around out there, this is a great place to start. So let me bring it up. Okay, so I kind of lied. This isn't necessarily based on the ancient teachings of the Babylonians. But in fact, what it is from a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. I believe the book was written by George Clason in 1926 or 1929. And ultimately, it follows basically a journey of a young man just learning about finances and wealth, building wealth, who ultimately becomes the richest man in Babylon. Okay. And it's basically kind of the journey of the different lessons along the way that continues to help them build upon this foundation. And ultimately, I think this is the kind of the main theme that I wanted to pull out of that book. But I recommend everyone read that book. It is a very small book or short book, and it is a very quick and easy read. Okay, it's a really good story. It's been a bestseller, and it's still, what's interesting is as long as it was written ago, the principles still hold true. So again, this is something that you can do now and continue on doing, or again, just something to get you started. Okay, so let's break it down. So in the book, in the teachings, if you will, you are supposed to essentially live off of 70% of your income. Okay, so let's just say that we are making, for simple math, that we make $1,000 a month. So in this case, we would want to be living off of $700 a month, right? 70%. That includes your housing, food, right? Any kind of bills in terms of, my phone, my internet, whatever it is, right? Netflix, all that kind of stuff goes in our living expenses. Okay, 20% of our monthly income, if you will, in this case, $200 of the 1,000, we would be putting towards repaying debt that we've accumulated. More commonly, this is going to be credit card debt, might be a car payment. That is what 20% of our monthly income should go to. And then 10% of our monthly income should be going to savings and investments. Now, when you first look at your financial picture, if you will, and start looking at where your money is going, I can almost guarantee that a majority of people are not even close to this, okay? More commonly, we are pretty much tapping out all of our monthly income on living expenses and debt, okay? Very little money is going to savings, and that is what is putting people into the situation like we just kind of seen, where there's very little money to be had when it comes to time where we think that we're going to retire, okay? So the first goal that you would have if you're saying, hey, you know what? I don't really have a plan. I'd like to maybe try this out. Okay. Your first goal is, for one, not to get frustrated if you're way off. Okay. This is now the goal to shoot for, to start bringing your finances in alignment with. Okay. So take a look at where you currently are. And then your goal is to start getting as close to these percentages as possible. Okay. So how can we adjust? How can we do that throughout all this? Okay, so the 70% living expenses. Okay, we need to really take a hard look at what we are spending money on. How many times are we eating out? What extracurricular expenses do we have that we can maybe cut back on? What subscriptions do we have? We're in an age where we're paying monthly for a million things, a lot of things that we might not even be using or use very little that we can easily get rid of. And those are easy ways to start bringing our living expenses into that 70%. For the debt, right? What I personally did, and I think is for me, it worked really, really well when I was looking to get out of debt. It involves ranking your debt from the lowest balance to the highest balance. Okay. So the lowest amount owed, right, is the top priority all the way to the most money owed. Okay. And so I would pay the minimum on all of my debt payments, and the excess of the 20% would go towards that debt with the lowest balance. The reasoning is so I can start eliminating pieces of debt. Okay. And I like to treat it more like so it felt more like a to-do list, right? We know that feeling of accomplishment whenever we're able to check something off our to-do list and we just don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay. Versus, some school of thought is, hey, take the debt that has the highest interest rate and pay that off first. Well, sometimes if that amount that you owe is a hefty amount, you can almost get that feeling of not really moving forward. Like you're not really accomplishing anything if month after month after month you're making these payments, but nothing is changing, right? And so I'm a big fan of start with the lowest balance. And when you eliminate that piece of debt and it's gone, what a major feeling of accomplishment. And then what you do is, right, you're still paying the minimums and you just move down the list. What's the next lowest balance? And all the excess money now goes to that, right? And then you'll come to find that you start eliminating the debt faster and faster and faster. And then your 10%, that is something that we probably all can benefit by putting more money into our savings account. Liquid money, easy access, primarily for emergencies and living expenses. Now, there's all kinds of things out there. Hey, you should have 6 months of living expenses. I've seen it all the way out. You should have 12 months. Shoot for 6 months and then go from there. But the easy allocation here of this 10% is just put it into a savings account. Okay. Most people are just one kind of event off or away from wiping out essentially all their net worth because they don't have enough money saved up. Okay. So start with savings, build that nice cushion, and then you can start concerning yourself with investments. Right. And some of you are probably already putting money away, maybe if you work to a 401k or retirement. So you do have some monthly money that is counted in this 10%, probably potentially going somewhere like that. Okay. So for the remainder of that 10%, put it into your savings account until, right, we have that cushion built up, that security, that comfort, so that we're kind of protected and we can kind of maintain, right? The idea is to maintain this until we've eliminated debt, because ultimately what we're doing is that 20%. Once we eliminate the debt, that 20% is now freed up, that ideally that we put towards savings and investments, and we really start snowballing the amount of money that we're putting away into savings, into stuff like retirement accounts, mutual funds, maybe real estate, just other things that are going to ultimately create more money for us, right? And have our money start working for us through interest and dividends and whatnot. And then one other thing to consider is not only by bringing our expenses into these percentages, we're going to start getting our finances in order, our financial house in order, but this grows over time with income increases, right? So if I get promoted or get a raise, right, I keep the same percentages, but now there's more money that I have to devote to the different buckets here, right? The workforce right now, the labor market right now is prime opportunity for people who are maybe looking for a career change into something maybe better, maybe has more money. There's more open jobs than there are filling them right now. Not to say that's always going to be the case, but now is a great opportunity to say, look, you're looking at your picture here and you're like, man, I'm not making enough money that I feel comfortable with, and let alone to be able to execute a plan like this, then maybe it's time to consider, like, am I getting paid what I'm worth? Am I doing a job that I enjoy, right? And is the money something that is making me happy, or is there other opportunities out there? So, this can grow through additional income, whether that's through, the workforce, through jobs. Maybe you have a side business or a business that you start or whatnot, but just understand that your money can grow beyond just, putting money into savings investments and paying off your debt, but also just simply raising the amount of money that you're bringing in on a monthly basis. Okay. So that's it. I encourage you to give this a try. If you have no guidance and you're kind of looking for a budget to start off with, or a plan to start off with, again, this is a great starting point. And I still go back to this from time to time whenever I feel that my finances are all over the place. I'm like, you know what, I need to get organized. Let me see where everything is and see how we're playing out, and get back on track. So I encourage you to give this a try if you lack a plan. And if you do, let me know how it goes in the comments. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you read the book. And I encourage you to get that book, read it. I'll link to it again in the description. And please like, subscribe, share if you feel this was valuable content. And I'll just see you in another video.